welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning in, and sorry about last week. Unfortunately, didn't have time to come up with a show, but we're here now, so good deal. My computer wants to restart, so hopefully that doesn't interfere with things. But yeah, first things first, condolences to the Mysterio family. Apparently, Rey Mysterio's father died. Unfortunately, I didn't get it last week. Didn't really get a chance to say anything. But, yeah, rest in peace to Rey Mysterio's father. I didn't do a show last week. I had planned to kind of go over the whole Tyson Jake Paul match, which I did get a chance to watch, and like an idiot, I don't know why I did this, because I should have just watched SmackDown. I DVR'd SmackDown, and I watched the Tyson and Jake Paul fight in real time, which was a mistake, obviously, because I had to go get up for work next day at 4 a.m. If you hear something that sounds like a cat being murdered, it's actually I think it's my son on his recorder, so I'm hoping that doesn't come through on audio, but that's the explanation for it. But yeah, I did watch it. I didn't realize there was going to be like 5 hours of undercard on this thing, which I should have, because I've watched boxing in the past. I should have known this. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I did end up seeing the fight. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but man, watching it, it's hard not to think that Tyson threw that fight. I'm sorry. I know, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I mean, granted, the guy is 58 years old, but there were a couple of times where it looked like he could have easily just wrecked Jake Paul, and maybe it's because I still have the image of the old Mike Tyson in my head, from the 90s, that was so dominant, and so Tyson in his prime would have absolutely destroyed this guy. Excuse me. I'm getting a little bit of a head cold right now, so if it sounds like I'm a little raspy or nasally, that's the reason right there. But yeah, I think that Tyson would have absolutely wrecked this guy. Not going to say he's not a good fighter, but Paul obviously was not on the level of, one of the greatest fighters of all time, right up there with Muhammad Ali. Excuse me. But man, I don't know. I mean, it was nice to hear Mario Ronaldo again. Man, that was he is one of my favorite announcers. I really do like his commentary. But what was with the biting of the gloves too? I want to know what was going on there. That was just weird. I felt like he was holding back. Was it a mind thing? If it wasn't thrown, then was it a mind thing where he was just like, wow, can I still do this? Not, because he looked timid. He looked very un-Tyson-like during that whole fight. And I understand, the guy is 58. I mean, he's in tremendous, amazing shape. I mean, in a fight, he could absolutely, literally murder me with his bare hands. So I'm not going to talk ill of the guy. I mean, and I was hoping he'd win. I wanted to see somebody put Paul down. I really do. I'm not into the whole antics and all that crap. I really did want to see him put him down. And that, being a guy that's in his 50s, it would have been nice to watch this guy knock this punk out. But it was a spectacle. It was a fun time, and that women's match they had earlier was absolutely incredible. That was probably my favorite match the whole night. Jeez, that was a great fight. But yeah, I still, even at his advanced age, I still think Tyson should have beaten this guy after seeing what I saw, because I really didn't see anything special from Paul that would have, led me to believe that he was, unless both guys were just pulling their punches. I don't know, Maybe Paul didn't want to rock him and vice versa, The money was in going 8 rounds, so maybe that was the plan all along. Just go the full, 8 rounds and make a spectacle of it all. Maybe that was the whole plan, Even Paul in previous interviews had said that, boxing's fixed, this, that, and the other thing, so maybe he's right. maybe he should have kept his mouth shut. But, it was just that. It was a spectacle, it was entertaining, and not very believable. Sorry. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm just, because I've watched Tyson fights in the past, and I watch him in his prime, maybe I'm jaded because that. Maybe I have that image in my head of this guy coming out and just absolutely dominating, destroying people, and even when he didn't, he still didn't look like this guy in the ring. But then again, he wasn't 58 years old at the time, so that's pretty much all I have to say on that. A lot of people, I know I had streaming issues. A lot of people had streaming issues. I'm kind of happy that they did, because being the first live sports event they've done, this makes me feel better, so that when it's time to show Raw on Netflix, then I know they're going to have a majority of this, bulk of this ironed out. And even major networks that have been doing this for 100 years almost, what television been around, 80 years kind of thing, But even those guys, it's 70, 80 years, even those guys have issues sometimes. So I was expecting some issues. I wasn't expecting that to get pulled off flawlessly. I mean, even so, it came off okay, But, what else was I going to say? Geez. I don't want to belabor my, point too much on that, but I think they're going to do just fine, Netflix. And from what I understand, they've already been broadcasting WWE events outside of this country, outside of the areas that Peacock carries. So they are, from what I'm hearing, covering live events from them. So I think by the time Raw comes around, and I think it's going to go off very well. But maybe I'll be made to eat those words. I don't know, but as being someone who's done live television and someone who worked for a station, worked in television as a production assistant. I've done directing. I've done CG. I've done sound. I've done camera work. Live television is tough. It's not an easy thing, and you have to expect some glitches to go along. It's not like a movie where you can get as many takes as you'd like to get a scene correct. It's happening now. And, if the director calls out the wrong camera, or if they have an issue with a cable, where they have to, or a camera goes out or something, where they have to switch to a different camera, it happens. And it happens at the worst possible time. So I'm not gonna, maybe that's why I'm not as harsh on them as a lot of other people have been. But hey, let's get going on WWE. Raw, we had Liv opening the show. Nia and Tiffany and Candice LeRae, I guess, interrupt. Bianca and Jade interrupt Naomi with a Io Sky. It's all building up to War Games at Survivor Series, and Rhea comes out with a protective mask, looking like a badass as usual. Screams War Games, then headbutts Liv, erupts into a brawl / chaos, and then we had American Made versus LWO mixed tag match with LWO winning. American Made is becoming the jobbers of the WWE. It's still entertaining, but I want to know what the Creed brothers did to deserve this. Let's see. We had a good vignette for Final Testament. I like Karrion Kross a lot, so I'm hoping that this feud with Wyatt Six opens up, elevates the Final Testament, and opens up some doors for them. Then we had Sheamus versus Braun Breaker, with Ludwig Kaiser interfering with interferes and he clotheslines Breaker, yada yada yada. So it's a no contest. Bloodline OTC asked Seth to join them at War Games. Seth does not want to stand with Roman. I've been teasing the whole Seth thing coming back to reunite with Roman. Tease that for a while, and I'll get back to that later on in the show. The War Raiders come out versus Judgment Day. War Raiders are looking great. Whatever they're doing, keep doing it. They're looking a whole lot better. With the War Raiders winning, and we have a beatdown from Judgment Day. Then we have a Wyatt 6 vignette. Man, Bo is doing his best Bray impersonation. I'm not the only one saying this. He is looking more and more like Bray every day, and it's kind of creepy. It's kind of terrifying. So next we had Seth versus Bronson Reed. Bloodline surrounding the ringside. With obviously we've still got the Bronson Reed versus Seth feud, which is why at this point in time it made most of us think that Seth was reuniting with the Bloodline OTC. And at this point, the original Bloodline comes out. We have Bronson Reed beating Seth, which is good. I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that. Which brings us to SmackDown. Sorry. We had Chelsea Green defeating Bianca Belair and Blair Davenport. Sorry, jeez. For the win. So they Green advances in the U.S. Championship tournament. That I'm very happy about. I like to see Green get her flowers. During this match, Bianca Belair leaves the ring because on the Titantron they show Jade Cargill just bloodied and laid out on the windshield of a car. So looking like she just got killed. With Nia denying the attack, yada yada yada. Speaking of which, Nick Aldis, who wants to see Aldis versus Pierce? I do. If they bring back the SmackDown versus Raw thing, and in Survivor Series, I think that would be fun. I really do. I think both those guys got another match in them. I want to see Aldis wrestle again. I really do. I enjoyed his work in NWA, and I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him do something like that. We had Shinsuke cutting a dramatic promo on LA Knight. LA Knight defeating Santos Escobar via pinfall and retaining the belt. Let's see. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, with Cody basically calling KO out to the ring, whatnot. It was a good exchange between these guys. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Then we had a little bit after this. We had a little bit of shoving between Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes. After Hayes had actually kind of been on the side of Owens. Let's see. Then we had we had Montez Ford defeating Tommaso Ciampa via pinfall. Ciampa's still doing this whole. He's kind of going back to the old Ciampa that was so successful in NXT and worked for him so well in NXT. And it looks like they're gonna break up DIY, and because Gargano is buddies with Motor City Machine Guns, and Ciampa wants another shot at them, and he's ripped at about the whole situation between them and Street Profits and all that. Street Profits are getting more interesting with Dawkins kind of playing a bigger role in this, and Montez Ford kind of stepping out his own, having some singles matches and whatnot. So both those guys. So are we teasing a breakup between the two, or are we just kind of inferring a different direction for these guys? I don't know. You know, they've been wanting to break Montez off for a while. Maybe Street Profits are starting to get old. I don't know. I mean, this tag team division is still a little thin. You know, so I don't know if you want to break up the Street Profits right now. At least bring the Lucha Brothers in first, you know, and I haven't heard any update on them. I still think that AEW is stonewalling them from coming in, excuse me, because they were ready to come in, and I think Tony Khan's lawyer has gotten the phone about that one, but such is life. Next we had the whole situation with the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, and the current Bloodline. I call them the original Bloodline OTC, Bloodline over the counter. You know, confrontation between those two groups in the ring, and obviously the current Bloodline, the new Bloodline, second generation V2O, has Bronson Reed on their side, so they have all the 5 men that they need for War Games. The Bloodline OTC does not. So there's been a lot of teasing of Seth. Been a lot of stuff. A lot of people speculating that Heyman would come back and possibly bring Brock Lesnar in tow. Which was one of the things I thought for about a split second too, maybe. But the way they were hard teasing Seth, I figured that was eventually going to happen. Well, the two groups are in the ring confronting each other, and we hear the voice of Paul Heyman, you know, come out, and crowd goes nuts. I love it. I'm a Paul Heyman guy, and I love Heyman. Great job coming up. So at this point, we're still kind of wondering who's the next guy to come out. You know, like I said, crowd's still going nuts. We're wondering what's going on. Great facial reactions from everybody in the ring, and not too long after, you know, Paul Heyman gives his little diatribe. We hear that familiar Cult of Personality music. I was not expecting this. I tossed the idea around a little bit. I admit it. I talked to some friends about the possibility of CM Punk joining up with this. Of course, I'm a big Punk mark, so I mean, of course, I popped for this. I thought it was great. It was a great ending to the show, you know. And we end the show kind of with the Bloodline OTC clearing out the ring and end things off with a stare down between Punk and Reigns. You know, great way to end the show. Great way to end the show. Builds a lot of tension. Will they, won't they? I'm thinking this is a War Games only thing. I don't see Punk permanently joining this group. I think he's probably going to bow out at some point, possibly after Survivor Series. Then where we go from there, I think eventually Seth is going to reunite with Roman and possibly be part of the storyline. I really do. Especially since Bronson Reed is now involved with this. I think that's where eventually they're going to end up going. You know, jeez, I thought it just occurred to me. Punk going down at the last minute and Seth substituting for him. I hope not. I really don't. I like Punk. I'm sorry. Plus, I want to see him wrestle. I want to see him part of War Games. I think that would be fun as heck. But I don't see him as a permanent solution. You know, I think eventually I think they will bring Seth Rollins into the fold here, and I think unfortunately that's going to be the case. You know, a lot of people have been talking about a Shield reunion. I don't know what Moxley's current contract is with AEW, so I And I know he's not going to break it. So, I mean, for the amount of money he's making, he's not going anywhere. And he can do all these stupid little other shows where he can do death matches every other week. And get all bloodied and have an excuse to, cut his forehead open like an idiot. I love the Shield. I did. I was a big Shield fan. I was a big Wyatt family fan, and I loved the feud that they had together right at that point in time. And I kind of likened the whole Shield to kind of like the way the Punisher is in the Marvel Comics. I almost said MCU, but because he's an anti-hero, him and Wolverine are kind of the two leading anti-heroes of that universe, and I kind of likened Shield to Punisher, even with the the Seth Rollins and all of them wearing the flak vests and whatnot. It was kind of reminiscent of that in some ways, and they were the vigilantes. They were the forces going against authority that were breaking in and righting wrongs and whatnot. So I kind of likened them to that, and they were a well-rounded group because they had Roman as the big heater. They had Seth as the high flyer, fast guy, agile guy, spot monkey. And then you had the crazy, brilliant, genius leader of the group that was Dean Ambrose. So there was such a well-grounded, well-rounded group, and there was no fantasy, no comic bookish elements to it, aside from the whole kind of Punisher parallels, but and I think it's kind of their exposure to Triple H and CM Punk that guided that group. And then Dean Ambrose, I don't know if he was drinking at the time, but man, he kind of went off the rails in a real hurry. Of course they gave him garbage creative direction too, with the whole Vince's idea of what a crazy guy should be, and it didn't work. But so I don't know. Logistically, that ball's kind of in Tony Khan's court as far as the Shield reuniting. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, I'm looking forward to War Games. I always love War Games. Survivor Series is always fun. A friend and I were talking about this. Would kind of like to see more of the traditional Survivor Series come to play, and I would like to see that. This kind of does have a little bit of that feel, though, even though it is a War Games type match. With the reuniting, it's kind of the enemy of my enemy, is my friend kind of thing. That feel it has with this whole Heyman guy brigade, kind of with Punk and the Bloodline OTC, so it kind of has that feel. Do you bring in the other Fatus at this point? Do you bring in the other Samoans at this point to kind of give the Bloodline V2O 2.0, I should say, bigger edge, and then push the storyline even further? I don't know. Maybe. We'd have to kind of see where their development is, because those guys are still relatively green new. So, but it should be fun. Like I said, I don't even care who wins. To tell you the truth, I don't care who wins any of these matches. I know it's silly, but I really don't. I just think that the storyline is going to be fun, and I think it's going to be some fun matches. And I absolutely love the War Games format, so I think that's going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I kind of miss the whole Survivor Series on Thanksgiving, but I don't in some ways too. It allows me to watch football. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And hey, unfortunately, it's coming up on that time. Hey, if you have any great Survivor Series memories, feel free to post them in the comments, please, and share that with everybody. I'd love to see some comments from the listeners and viewers. And what's your favorite Survivor Series moment? So the gobbledygooker, Lord knows that's not mine, but well, what do you guys think? And unfortunately we're running out of time, so everybody have a safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy having time for your family, and seeing loved ones, and take a little time out to remember what the holiday's for, and give a little thanks for the things that you have. And just heard, not sure what's going on, but somebody just yelled "wait" out there. All right, but yeah, please enjoy your holidays, enjoy Thanksgiving. Try to be careful on Black Friday, okay? And respect and be nice to those that are in retail, and they're away from their families on Black Friday, so you guys can enjoy yourself and enjoy yourselves, please, but do it responsibly, please. And be sure to check out Then and Now in downtown Trenton. It's right in the square. Tell them that Crushing Kayfabe sent you, and we have some items for sale there too. So check us out there, and what's the other? Check crushingkayfabe.com. Check us out on there, and for $1 a month, you can listen to and watch us ad-free on patreon.com. So search for us, Crushing Kayfabe, crushing with a K, and everybody, thanks for tuning in, and God bless.